Tisas 1911 B9R 1911 Duty B9R double stack 5-inch. Man, that's a mouthful. But coming up, you'll see my absolute first shots of the gun. We'll do full magazine plus one. Take it to the what's for dinner table to see what the gun eats, the spinner for sights and trigger control, as well as some practical accuracy, and give you my concluding thoughts, as well as some updates from the tabletop. Coming up next on GBGuns. Starting off with updates. One, I have since identified the difference between the Duty and the Carry. This being a Duty model, we've got the broader slide serrations, we've got a fiber optic front sight, and we have a single rail slot instead of the multiples that were on the Carry model. Also, the box did indeed have that takedown tool in it for the full-length guide rod. It was just buried down in deep with an Allen wrench to remove the top. Speaking of removing the top, I will be mounting a dot on this later. However, as per protocol, I review things as they come out of the box, especially since dots can sometimes cause malfunctions, either by altering a slide mass or by being a surface off which the brass bounces back into the gun, causing a malfunction. I've seen that many a times and seen too many gun tubers blame the gun, so I try to keep it clean here. First shots are done at 20 yards. However, I brought only 3 of the 4 pieces I needed for my regular C-Zone steel, so unfortunately we're stuck with a full-size cardboard. In the past when I've done this, it actually caused some bad habits because I was a little bit sloppy. Also, as you saw on the tabletop, the fitment of this gun isn't perfect. We might have some malfunctions with the standard PMC bronze. That's how you know it's a GBGuns video. There's a plane flying overhead, even though I'm here on a weekday. Anyways, so I've got some hotter ammo just in case we have issues. But for first shots, I've got 10 rounds of PMC bronze 115 grain loaded up. Let's see how she runs and what it feels like. Oh yeah, that's the smooth, comfy, kind of lazy recoil impulse of a 5-inch gun that I remembered and was hoping for. That was definitely easy. PMC bronze, no trouble there. Looks like I'm hitting a little bit low and a little bit spread. As I said, shooting big targets results in sloppy shooting. But now let's move on to full mag plus one. Still sticking with that PMC bronze, and maybe slide hang up will be amplified by being full mag. Let's find out. We've got 18 rounds on tap. 18th round went in pretty easy. Also on these magazines in the tabletop, I wasn't sure who made them. I believe they're Checkmate. I also have some Duramags here with me to aid in the what's for dinner test. If we have an issue with one of the Duramags or one of the generic Checkmates, not Tisas branded Checkmates, we'll move back to the mags that were included with this gun, since all my mags have different lifespans on them. But let's see. Easy, comfortable, soft shooting, steel frame, 5-inch gun. This is what I remembered and loved about 5-inch guns. All right, let's head over to what's for dinner and see what the gun will eat. This time, thanks to Widner's, it's what's for dinner time. Time to see what the gun will eat. As I roll past these, you'll see we're going from 90 grain up to 165 grain today. Each of these has the ogive in a different location, different overall loaded length. We have different case materials, different projectile types. The point of this is to see, will the gun eat it? Will it feed from slide lock? Is there enough energy to cycle the gun and feed another round of the same type? And will it lock open on empty? 3 rounds is enough to do that and reduce variables. If you want to try more than that, or try some of this stuff yourself in your own gun, check the pinned comment over on my site. I will link to sources where I can find them. This is done from 7 yards at some 2-inch circles. Now, 2-inch circles are not the finest of aiming points for this distance. However, it gives us an idea if we're going to have significant point of impact shifts, things like that. And remember, with the 5-inch barrel, we're getting more than plenty of velocity, since 9mm in the US is loaded for a 4-inch barrel, so there's no need for plus P. Starting off with Underwood 90 grainers. These are the Extreme Defenders. Easy shooting. I'm so relieved that we're not having reliability issues with that slide hang up. Next, some Magtech 95 grain jacketed soft point. That was thunder. Wow, is that one hole? Yes, it is. Blazer reduced recoil 100 grainers. Soft shooting, but the reduced recoil aspect doesn't really, if anything, it felt a little too soft. Like it's not necessary in a gun like this. SIG 365, this is the V-Crown 115 grain optimized for short barrels. Gonna be putting in a long barrel. Circle 4. Relatively punchier than the reduced recoil, understandably. Hornady American Gunner, the Hag, 124 grain, circle 5. Whew, yeah, this is spicier. And we have a malfunction. It is the slide hanging up. No? Huh, slide release lever was up. I don't think I bumped it with my hand. It might have been operator error. But ran smooth otherwise. The Pacifics PMC SFX 124 grain. Circle 6. Did well. Crowd favorite, Federal Premium Law Enforcement HSTs, 124 grain. This is, we've now moved on to the Duramags, by the way. That round felt like more muzzle flip, but not necessarily more recoil, if that makes sense. It was not pushing in the hand any harder, it just, the nose wanted to flip up. Hornady Critical Duty, 135 grain. Please, go ahead and hit that like button if you've ever had a Critical Duty. For me, it's usually around 8:30 in the morning. That was back to the push kind of recoil, but smooth shooting. Next one tends to be spicy. Winchester Defense 147 grain. Now we're on to the generic Checkmate mags. Ran well. And our heaviest, the Stolf from Ammo Inc. I didn't mispronounce that. There's no A in the name of the ammo. 165 grain. This is meant for shooting suppressed, but I enjoy it on What's for Dinner because it tends to also be really soft shooting. Ha ha ha. I was just gonna say, yeah, I was wondering if the slide was gonna lock back or not. You can see it's not the magazine. That stuff was so soft, just barely running the gun. But aside from, sticking away from the super soft, which, let's see if we still have our issue. Magazine is out. If I release the slide release, yep, we're still hanging up a little bit, so it's not quite broken in yet. The Stealth might work, or Stolf might work after some more rounds through the gun. Now let's head over to the spinner for sights and turn control. 13 yards back from a 6-inch spinner target. This is a fun target. As you hit it, it begins to move. The harder and better you hit it, as in using leverage and timing, the faster it moves, which makes timing a well-placed shot all the more important if you want to continue to keep it spinning and not stop it. That's why I use it for sights and trigger control. I've got 8 rounds of that PMC bronze, standing beside the camera here, and let's see how we do. Remember, 5-inch should give us plenty of energy. Not bad. But Graham, if it's got plenty of energy, how come it didn't go over the top? I don't know. There's a lot of variables there. Could be weak ammo, could be the spinner's not having a good day. The important thing was, did I hit? And out of 8, it looks like I landed 6, which isn't too bad. If anything, what was holding me back was just how comfortable the gun is to shoot. It kind of gave me a little bit of extra confidence, and I wasn't having to work as hard. Now, this is something that I noticed in doing those verified by AccuShoot videos, that sometimes the livelier guns wake me up as a shooter, and then I start to do the things I need to do to shoot well. Whereas a comfy gun, I kind of relax, and I think that might have happened here. But this is going really well. I think we're approaching having a new favorite. If you guys haven't paid attention or hadn't noticed, there's a playlist on the main channel called Favorites. That's where I put the ones that I like. Either I had a great time shooting it, or there's something I really love about the gun, or the story behind it, or something like that. And that's kind of my subtle way of endorsing without necessarily endorsing. This might be going in there, but let's head over and do some practical accuracy and see what kind of group I can get. 5 shots from 7 yards at that left circle square. Love having a 1-inch square at 7 yards because it tends to scale out to about the same width as the front sight post. So if you ever want to practice something and really work on your accuracy, try finding 1-inch squares. You can get 1-inch square stickers very easily, very cheap. You don't need necessarily one of these targets. 5 rounds of that PMC bronze 115 grain. And sorry, but while I was moving over here, oh, now I see the sparrows run away. There was some eagles cawing, crying, screaming, whatever you want to call it. It was pretty cool. There's a little bird fight going on now that the airplane's gone. All right. Such a nice shooter, so smooth, so easy. After shots for the Tisas 1911 Duty B9R double stack 5-inch. That's the official name. I figured it out. It is the 5-inch barrel cheat code that I remembered from the past. It's just really comfortable and easy to shoot. I paid just under $700 for this, thanks to the patrons for making it possible and the patrons for selecting this. We still have that issue of the slide hanging up a little bit, but did it affect function while shooting? Once, with one type of ammo. This being a 5-inch gun, although it is described as duty, does that mean that it's a duty only use? Would this be something you carry? Is it something you range use? For me, this is gonna be a range use gun. The texture isn't super sharp. That's fixable. You could goon tape it. You could swap out the grip module. There's many things you could do there. The trigger is not, I mean, it's a standard 1911. It's not terrible. It's hard to make a bad 1911 trigger, especially 70 series. It's nothing amazing. But for the price and the savings on this, you could easily get a drop-in kit or take it to a smith or something like that if you need to. It shot pretty well for me with just straight out of the box. What a fun one. This is I think if you want to enjoy double stack 1911, but you don't necessarily want to cough out the big dollars, thus far of all of the budgety ones, like below 1400, because I guess actually below 1600, because 1400 gets you a Prodigy, which is still basically a budget double stack 1911, still got roughness. You can get 2 of these for the cost of a Prodigy. I think this is the winner. I will be mounting a dot on it for some future follow-up videos that'll be on the second channel, or if you're watching on Rumble, everything's on the one channel on Rumble. And later on down the road, might continue to tweak. I might turn this into the project gun that I've been looking for. What an amazing piece. Thank you, patrons, for recommending this and enabling this. If you guys aren't a patron, please, in the comments, give them a thanks or consider becoming a patron so that we can do more videos like this, completely independent of manufacturers, just buying something from a shop. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.
Thank you to our Patreon supporters. GBGuns and I do 2 levels. Tomboys SS, Eddie O'Brien, Dave F. Dave Rickes Jr. Donald H. Fast, Eddie, Gary B. George H. Greg K. Joseph T. Marvin T. Bay, Rich Sky King, Hello to Fame Jenna. H. Brad M. made it P. Gary LC Kill B. Gorgie BC 1986. Have FTJE. Marcus Michael L. Mike and C. Technocon. RPNT 2022 A. Robert C. Ron C. Ross B. Edward P. Robert E. B. Summer G.
Tisas 1911 Duty B9R double stack 5-inch with the O-Sight SE, some PMC bronze 115 grain, 1-inch square from 7 yards. See how we do. Not bad at all.